What's going on, you guys? So today is actually going to be a super quick video because I just want to talk to you about meditation, how it'll help you, and Stoicism and how they're related. So you might already know this, and maybe this will just be a good reminder. And if you don't know, basically, meditating simply is the practice of just being present, right? And if you've never meditated before, I was 100% the guy who used to be like, that's woo woo, I don't know about that stuff. And then I got into it and I realized that it was a really effective tool for staying present, staying calm, and making it easy to interact with people in the present moment and respond to things rather than react to things. So let's just talk about meditation for just a quick second, because I've talked about it a little bit before, but we would just want to keep it super simple for this video. So imagine, for example, that you can close your eyes and just focus on breathing through your nose. So just consistently doing that over and over and focusing on your breath, and whenever you'll notice it too, your mind will start to distract itself and start to think about what happened yesterday and the things you have to do today, and you like worrying about the future or whatever it does, right? It's gonna start like thinking about all this stuff, and then you're gonna wind down this thought path where you're like, how did I even get here? And that's why it's important for you to be like, you just focus on the breath, and never, and don't blame yourself, because this is actually, for some it's easier. I mean, for myself, it wasn't so easy to start with because I was always getting distracted by my thoughts, and so I would like beat myself up over it at the end, like, I couldn't really stay present because I kept overthinking and like I felt bad about it. But don't beat yourself up about it, because it can be hard, especially when we're not used to focusing. Like, we've got all this like, doom scrolling, social media, Netflix, this and that, distracting us all the time. So it's actually very difficult for a lot of people to be present. So again, just focus on the breath through the nose, and then also, whenever one of those thoughts comes up, I just want you to imagine, basically, that it's like a cloud. Like in comics where like the thought or the thing that the character is saying, it's in a bubble. Think about it like that. Like the thought that you're gonna overthink about is in the bubble, right? All that text, the things that you're thinking about, and you see it, or it's like a balloon or something, right? And basically you choose not to grab onto the balloon. You choose not to focus on that cloud, or like if you were in a river, like not to focus on that thing floating by you. Just focus on your breath. And this creates a situation where you're like, okay, you realize you can choose what you worry about, what you think about, and choose what you don't think about. Which also means, because that's related to your emotions as well, that our default state is peace, joy, and happiness, or calm. Joy is the best one. That's our default state. And basically, you're always choosing to allow other things to affect you. Just like the thoughts, right? So like somebody cut you off in traffic, or this thing happened and you broke up with your girlfriend, or whatever, right? Like, you can choose. I know this can be difficult too, right? But you can choose to allow these things to affect you. You can choose to allow somebody to make you feel upset. And that means that if you have the choice to be frustrated, sad, upset, angry, whatever, then why wouldn't you just choose to feel happy then? Happy, grow, keep going, keep becoming better. And that's the key to why this is so important. And by the way, that's that thing about choosing how you respond to these situations. It's really effective when you're talking with someone and they, for some reason, are getting upset. Hopefully they're not, right? But if they are, then it allows you to address it in a calm manner. Like either you can tell them, hey, like, I can see that it seems like maybe you're a bit frustrated or upset right now. So let's actually return to this conversation when we're both a bit calmer. And then that way they can't force you to have the conversation then. It also works for you if you're upset, right? You can say, hey, we'll return to this conversation when, things are a little bit more calm and level-headed here. And also, it's really effective for business, right? Like if someone does sales, super effective there. Also, just like the situation we just described, like if there's like some upset, frustration or like argument or something, like you can just simply choose not to do it, right? And so the person, you elevate each other's emotions. If you both are getting upset and arguing or whatever, although you'll be able to mediate their emotions if you can remain calm too. And you can actually talk through them logically and stay stoic. That's the whole point of this, right? Is staying stoic and calm in the situation. So you can actually come up with a solution, or at the very least, just hear the person out. Because that's really important, especially with a lot of any kind of relationship, right? Is a lot of times something you could ask, something that would be really effective, especially for like people who are dating or like husband and wife, stuff like that, is asking this question: would you like me to, like, before they get into it, maybe like say like, okay, like, I want to listen and understand you. Do you want me to simply listen? Would you like me to maybe like ask you some questions and be like affirm what you're thinking, right? Like positive reinforcement, like, oh yeah, that sounds like really difficult, or that sounds really challenging. Like what are you gonna do about that, right? Like certain things like that, so you can help support your, let's say, your girlfriend or your friend, things like that, because you can ask them what they want, right? A lot of people assume, like a lot of guys especially are really logical. I'm guilty of this too, like trying to simply fix and solve a problem. And that's the last one I was going to say, right? They want to simply fix and solve the problem when the girl, or it doesn't matter if it's a dating thing, when the person talking to you simply just wanted you to listen. They wanted someone to hear them, right? And understand, be like, oh yeah, that does sound really difficult. I'm sorry you're going through that. Or what's your plan to move forward or progress here, right? Like simple things like that, because really they just want to feel heard most of the time. And then if they do want some advice, they'll ask. So that means that you should ask them if they want that, right? So the thing that I mentioned I was guilty of is just automatically being a guy, like, we want to fix and solve, find the solution. And so I would do that instinctually without asking the things first. And sometimes people get upset when you do that, like they didn't want advice. And even sometimes, like, people don't want you to necessarily like just relate to them, like oh yeah, I've been through a similar situation too, like I totally hear you. Like sometimes it's best literally just to listen to them. So think about that too, like asking, would you like me just to listen? Would you like to talk about it a little bit afterwards? Would you like my thoughts on it? Some affirmations maybe, or like, because I support you regardless. I know this sounds challenging. Do you want me to like offer advice? Like, what would you like from this conversation, basically? And that's why, I know it's a bit of a tangent, but it's why being stoic, being present, being able to stay calm always, provide your perspective, get their perspective in a calm manner, so you can figure out how to help, even if they just want you to listen. And this is why, basically, meditation is so powerful. And that's how it's helped me so much in going from the, oh, I don't know, this stuff is woo-woo, to actually like, man, like, this stuff is super helpful. And this sort of a rabbit hole you can go down, obviously, as you saw in this video. So all I can say is I really hope this helps, and you got this.